I know that you want to make great change in this world. And I know that you understand that great change starts with yourself and doing your own self work. And along with that, an aspect to our own self work that some of us are reluctant to do is to take full responsibility for cleaning up any conversations or relationships that we have in our lives or need to have in our lives that we're avoiding or that we haven't been in our own full integrity with. And a key to gaining that inner power, confidence, and just knowing of how we're going to impact the world and our ability to go out and do that every day is by handling these conversations. And it's not easy because it's taking ownership and responsibility for ourselves and for our decisions. We get to an opportunity to let go of the victim mentality that we like to carry around, and this idea that someone did something to me, or this aspect of us that likes to blame. But it can be so empowering for both people involved when we just take responsibility for ourselves and our part of the relationship and why it's not working. And then from that empowering moment and that kind of release of stagnant energy that's holding between these two people, both people can then go out in a better way, make great impact in the world, whether the world is your loved ones around you or making impact in the world means the whole world, every country, everyone. So this week's meditation isn't going to take place of a very real and possibly challenging conversation that you need to choose to have. It's going to help set the tone for that and create a healing for that. So, with that all being said, get yourself as comfortable as you can in a sitting position and close your eyes and take a couple deep breaths. And as you exhale, just become a little heavier. Allow a little bit more let go in your body. And I want you to begin to visualize yourself walking down a long hallway. And your hallway might look different than the next person, so it's your hallway, whatever it looks like to you. And understand that as you're being guided through any visualization, whether it's with me or another person, that the visions might be clear, the vision might be vague, or it might be just a belief or knowing that something's happening. And whatever this is for you is fine. Just trust the process. But walking down this hallway, maybe past other doors, maybe there's plants or tables in your hallway, whatever, just walk. And eventually you'll see the very end of the hallway, a door. And I'm just going to give the next few quiet moments so that everyone listening has a chance to get to this door. And with the intention of a great healing, we can now open the door and walk in, and you'll be walking into some kind of a meeting room. Again, what this looks like to you is what it looks like to you. So whatever your meeting room looks like is perfect. And take a look around. Kind of get your bearings in this room a bit. Notice the temperature of the room, the colors, the furniture, whatever is or isn't there. Just take note. Be there the best you can. And eventually, you can find a nice place to sit down and have a meeting with somebody. So find that sitting place and take a seat as if you're waiting for someone to arrive. And before going any farther, I'd like you to just call into this meditation a spiritual being that you believe in, whether it's like a Jesus or Buddha type or another being you've prayed to before. It could be a spirit guide or angel. It could also be a passed away loved one. But call this being in and ask them to be there, watching over and powering the rest of this meditation. Now, again, you might see this clearly. You might see this in a very vague vision, or you might just have a belief or a knowing or a sense that it's happening. All are equally powerful. And knowing that this being you called in is the true power source for the rest of this meditation, we will now move forward. And I want you to bring to mind a person in your life, preferably someone who is still alive, if that's possible, who you know there are some unspoken words that need to be had, that there is some cleanup or responsibility that you need to take in either opening up to discussion or coming clean or being honest about how you're feeling. If it's someone who has passed away, well, then you can actually do that in this meditation as well. But for most of you listening, it should be someone who is alive. And once you have this person picked out, I want you to ask that their energy, their aura, their soul presence walks into the meeting room with you and takes a seat next to you. And I'll give you a couple quiet moments to allow that to happen. And once they're there, notice that when you peel away any fears that you might be having, that there's actually a warmth to them in this meeting room. This is a very special place. When you're talking soul to soul, there is no anger. It's really a love-based conversation where you can peel away any fear that you might be having. And start by just giving them thanks and gratitude for arriving and being in this meeting room with you, watched over by this being you called in, this spiritual being that's there as well. Maybe see a beautiful cord or line of energy flowing equally between the two of you, connecting your heart and theirs. If you feel like you have to imagine or create that, go for it. Maybe even a figure eight cord of energy. One half of the figure eight around your heart center, the other half equally around theirs. And just a connection, a soul connection, even if this person has done things that you're not happy about, even if you've done things that you're not happy about to this person. Create a healthy connection that can allow for healing. And then take a moment to think about your responsibility, whether it's an apology, whether it's just speaking openly to this person or other. Focus on your half. Maybe it's giving forgiveness. Don't take ownership or think you know what they need to say or do. It's not why we're here. So take a quiet moment to think of what needs to be said from your end and communicate to that soul. It could be just, I love you. In fact, if there's anyone listening who isn't sure what to say, then just say that over and over again. If it's somebody who did something to you in your past, thank them for putting into play this challenging contract they chose to do for you. Forgive them if there's forgiveness needed. And let them know they're loved. Whatever it is, finish by making sure you let that soul know that you love them and appreciate them being there. If there's anyone listening who is unable to do that, there's too much emotion, then really connect with. And maybe even put one or both of your hands on the parts of your body where you feel this tension and anger. And this place that you're noticing will be a focal point for you. Talk to your healer and your therapist. Tell them this is where it's at. Now, let's just open up to anything that that person, that soul wants to say. So I'll just remain quiet for a short while. And if there's anything that this other soul that you called in wants to say back to you, we'll let that happen. And if not, it's okay. We'll just sit in silence. And then we'll finish by, in this meeting room with this person, creating the perfect time, the perfect place, preparing their energy and yours to have this conversation in real time physical world. Put that intention out there between the two of you. And that the most beautiful, graceful, positive outcome for both of your lives and anyone else this conversation may impact happens gracefully. And by putting that intention out there, you can now thank this being for arriving, and they and then you'll see this being that you called in beginning to fade away and move on. And now it's just you and the spiritual being you called in. And you can now turn to the spiritual being you called in earlier and ask for any advice that will help you prepare to have this conversation with this person. And just take a mental note of anything that's shared with you. And then give gratitude and thanks for that being coming. And after that, you can take some deeper breaths and slowly begin to reawaken. And as you do that, I'll just finish by saying the groundwork has been laid for those of you that are planning on or know that there's a conversation or some open conversation that needs to happen with somebody who is alive. The next big step is to prepare for that. And in the newsletter, I put some kind of little points to help you plan that. But the key is not you're not calling them to call them out or tell them what they need to do differently. This is fully taking on responsibility for your actions and your half of it. And maybe it's just that you weren't honest or haven't shared fully or whatever it could be. That is how we step into being great healers or great leaders, and whatever it is that you're up to. Ownership and responsibility for our actions and being integrity at all times. I do offer Ayurvedic wellness coaching for people who are leaders or looking to make great change in the world. So if you want some more coaching on this, don't hesitate to contact me. And have a great rest of your day.